I want to look at the Block 2, the Chinook, as an example. I got into a little bit more, and we're going to get into the weeds when we start making those assessments of risk. So it's, as proposed, indefinitely put off for that. So we were out in Phoenix 2 weeks ago and learned that the decision to cancel this, the upgrades, was made without input from the contractor, which is what you explained to me that you do, is that phase one, it's your staff that comes up with that. But then you go after that to industry. So on the CH-47F, the assessment was made, and the minimum requirements to keep a line going is something that your office put out first. If there's a difference, significant, between what your assessment is and what industry who's on the floor, how is that rectified or addressed?
So let me make sure I just clarify one detail, sir. The quantities, actually quantities that we want for a given year are not defined by the acquisition community, but by the requirements. So General Murray would bring that in. This
is in order to keep,
yes, sir,
whatever the program is, the minimum sustaining rate, right, which is what you publish.
Yes, sir. So the minimum sustaining rate is arrived at by discussing that with the contractor. It is an open discussion. We don't always agree on what we believe the numbers should be, and I'm not sure we're done with fully understanding that in the case of the Chinook. At the same time, we are looking at, so when we say we're not doing the F model, it's not that we're not doing any Block 2. We're doing Block 2 for the G model, yep, which is basically an F model converted to the special ops community.
Right.
And so we add those into the mix over a period of time.
That's 80 a year, I believe?
6, sir.
6.
And then on top of that, we've been supportive of FMS, foreign military sales, and there are a number of them that fill those. We are looking at other potential opportunities to bring partners into the mix to help us with some of the quantities right now. And I think the Secretary made it clear that in his discussions that this is a halt. It's a halt to try and find out where we need to go with respect to the new to a true future technology for heavy future vertical lift. That doesn't necessarily exclude the 47 Block 2, or an alternative variant along. It's just a statement to slow down, stop. Let's make reassessments and make sure that we're spending the taxpayers' dollars appropriately to meet the future vertical heavy lift needs.
And the reason I'm going into this is that if you arrive at it separately or individual, but they're close. On this one, they're saying you need 24-year minimum to keep the line open. So if that's part of your risk assessment and it's radically different, that would potentially change the outcome of that decision-making. So I'm going to move on, but that's one of the areas that if you're using that tool and we have that big of a discrepancy, and this just happens to be this one, what's the correction factor? How do we go after it? But we'll talk about that later on.